Okay, so good morning, everyone. So today we're going to discuss another set of interesting
Ay,
topics
ugma dayto.
under the Unit 3 Instructional
Katulo
Strategies
siya
for
mo balik.
Teaching Early Childhood Science. This includes Lesson 7, Demonstration, and the exhibitions
Iring
in
manggod
Lesson
lamang
8.
iring.
So before we formally start, I would like to introduce myself. I am Josa Dorotayo, along with my partner.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ara Jane Ayas.
Okay, so we are your reporter for today. But before we formally start, I request everyone to not speak in vernacular. We should always speak in English, and whenever you want to ask questions or clarifications regarding the topic that we're going to discuss, kindly tap the raise hand button. Okay, understood? Okay, so let's proceed. Can the next the slide, please? Okay, so today we're going to discuss introduction to demonstration, the characteristics of demonstration, the steps in using demonstration, and how to make effective science demonstration along with its benefits and the challenges of using demonstrations. And lastly, the suggested activities for teachers in demonstration. Okay, kindly next. Okay, so demonstration. So when we say demonstration, it is not new in the field of teaching. Why? Because even during the past generation, uh, teachers always conduct demonstration to further elaborate the lessons more effectively and allow the students to grasp the information effectively with their own pace. So, the use of demonstration involves teaching children to do a task in a systematic and step-by-step process. So, when we do demonstration teaching, it does not just undergo like a short period of time. So it undergoes like series of process in order to formally or accurately provide the possible lessons that the children needed to grasp in order. Okay, kindly next. Okay, can someone read the characteristics of demonstration? Let's start from letter A to C. Okay, may I have Miss Marielle Hamandron?
So, characteristics of demonstration should be done in a simple manner. Children are motivated and interested in listening to demonstration. And C is goals and objectives are clear and easy to implement.
Okay, so thank you for that, Marielle. So let's start with the letter A. So a demonstration should be done in a simple manner. In a simple way, um, children are be able to learn because the concepts and the words that we're going to incorporate with our lessons are comprehensible and age accurate. So for example, we are conducting like if we wanted to do a demonstration about an activity, then we use a very broad or complex words and phrases that are not suitable for their age. So most likely what will happen is that the student can be able to grasp in the information, so they can understand, they can fully comprehend. So that would be a great challenge for us teacher, no? So we must make sure that we will be able to use simple or not complex type of demonstration. So the next one are children are motivated and interested in listening to demonstration. So it is very important that when we do demonstration, we are lively, we are we are to make the children more attentive in listening to us, because children, if we have the authority to do it, or we hold the sole authority to do it, children will likely listen to us. So it is very important that we will do it in a lively manner, so they will be able to understand it very well. The third one is the goals and objectives. So our goals and our objectives must be clear and precise. So when we do demonstration, we are aiming for a particular goal or a particular purpose. It is very important for us to be accurate or to be precise on the goal that we wanted to meet in delivering the demonstrations. The letter D and letter E, kindly read Miss Jessa Dadul.
Letter D involves multi-hand activities, and letter E, able time is given for
Okay, so thank you for that, Miss Jessa Dadul. Okay, so when we do demonstration, um, there are like guidelines that we need to follow. So we are now already like doing demo or the lesson plan. So as you can see, there are like step-by-step process that we need to undergo, or a series of well-planned activities. So in order for us, so that when we do an activity, it is a well-planned. So the flow is straight. So there will be no hindrances or other interruptions that might occur when we do that activity, since it is well planned. The next one is when we are doing an activity or a demonstration, we must have like an ample time to do it. So it will like consume us like more than a week or two of preparation. So because a more preparation results to a successful demonstration. Okay, kindly next, please. Okay, so the following are the steps in using demonstration. So the first one is planning and preparation. So what comes in your mind when you hear the word planning and preparation? May I have Miss Anna Villasor?
So, excuse me. So when you say planning and preparations is you have to be ready for the upcoming demonstration,
Mm.
which is the materials that you need and the lessons that you will prepare.
Okay, that's right, Miss Anna Villasor. So, when we are delivering a demonstration, we need to undergo the stage of planning and preparation. So, how can we able to deliver a successful demonstration if we do not include the planning and the preparation? Oh, yes, it's very important for us to consider that factor, because there's a saying that the ill planning is a preparation for failure. Do you agree to that? Okay, I can see nodding there. Okay, so we must always remember that proper is required for a good demonstration. So we must select and study the subject matter, prepare a well-designed lesson plan in order for us to deliver the best possible demonstration we can. The next one is the introducing the lesson. So may I have Miss Catherine Nonato to give her idea about introducing the lesson? Is Catherine Nonato around?
I am.
Okay, so can you give your idea about introducing the lesson in steps in using a demonstration?
Okay, so introducing the lesson. So first you have to do your motivations. As we all know that motivation is the spark plug of the lesson. So we must see to it that your motivation is very engaging, and it should be enthusiastic. It should be so that you can catch the interest of a child. And then in introducing the lesson, you have to be set your goals first. You have to um, you have to assure that the children may find interested, so that the whole class will be engaging and also the lesson will be delivered effectively.
Okay, that is well explained. Okay, so when we do a demonstration, we must not forget doing the motivation first, because the motivation is like what? Is like a sneak peek of what our topic will be going to. So it's so when we do motivation, the children will have like maybe a short clue of what lesson are we gonna deliver for our lesson. So it's very important that we must have like a motivation first before we jump into the real topic. Okay, so the third one is the presentation of subject matter. So presentation of subject matter is essential that we as a teacher has the mastery of the subject matter. Why? Because it is very important for us to have the mastery. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so when we say the presentation of the subject matter, the master is included there. So the teacher, as the one who's going to deliver the lesson, must be well knowledgeable about the topic, must be prepared as and must be able to cater all the questions that the students might question them, because they are the driver of the lesson. So the kids are the passengers. So whatever, so they're just they are like they are gonna what do you call this, they are depending on the teacher on their learning. So it's very important that the teacher is knowledgeable enough. Okay, so the fourth one is during the demonstration. So it is important that during the demonstration, Miss Jessa Dadul, do you have any question?
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So during the demonstration, it's very important that we are also keen in observing our children or the students that we are delivering the lessons, because most likely there are students that won't listen or won't participate that much in our demonstration. So we also need to consider that factor, because we're aiming for like the holistic development of all the children that are included in your demonstration. So it's very important for us to consider their um, active participation and their interest when we are delivering a demonstration. Okay, kindly next. Okay, so another is the instructional materials. So instructional materials are very important. It should be big and visible for so that the kids will be able to see it very clearly. And then the instructional materials that we're gonna use or must be related to the topic that you are discussing, so that you will able to connect it to the topic that you are saying. The next one is the evaluation. So after we're done with our demonstration, it is very important for us to evaluate. So did you still remember the assessment in learning? Is it the assessment for learning when we do evaluation? It's assessment and learning, I guess, no? So, after the demonstration, we must assess if the student has grasped all the information that you have tackled. That you have tackled during your demonstration. Okay, so those are the steps in using a demonstration. Okay, kindly next. Okay, so here are the lists on how to make effective science demonstrations. First is to set clear objectives. So when we use Okay, so when we do a science demonstration, it's very important to what? To have a clear objectives of what we're gonna do. For example, we do a science experimentation about how the plants would grow. So it's very important that uh, we know why we conduct such activity. Why? So, because we are not just doing an activity for just nothing. So we're aiming for an objective, a learning for the kids. Next is to handle the materials and equipment with care. So particularly when we are situated in a laboratory, it's very important that we handle the materials with care because some of it are very easily, no, they are very are fragile, easily breakable. So it's very important for us, a teacher, as the facilitator of that said experiment or demonstration, that we must look at each one of our students, particularly the kids, because they are they are more onto exploration. They would roam around the laboratory. Next is to make your workplace tidy. It's very important that after you leave the said laboratory, the science laboratory that you have conducted your demonstration, it is very important to keep it clean and tidy for the next one to use. Oh, it's very important. Fourth one is use big materials to catch attention. Yeah, so when materials is big, so we would like to look at it because it's very visible to our eyes, right? It is not unavoidable. So it's very important for us to have like a very big materials to be used, and to introduce the materials before using it, since kids are not new to the materials that you're using. So it's very important to introduce your materials to them because they will be like questioning. They will be yeah, they will really question a lot, because particularly if those materials are new to them, new to their eyes. Okay, next. Okay, so kindly read the remaining effective science demonstrations. Can I have Miss Nina Onduna? Can you read from F to J?
How to make effective science demonstration. Speak clearly and once only. Employ the element of surprise. Save question at the end. Arrange the class in a U shape. Use a narrative to tell a story.
Okay, so thank you for that, Miss Nina Onduna. Okay, so we must speak very clearly and once only. So because if you would likely do it over time, no, the kids might find it boring. The kids might find it like in a repetition. Then we must employ the element of surprise. Of course, very important. Who doesn't like surprises here? Of course, we all like surprises. It's very important that we would like incorporate like surprises in doing our science activities, so that the kids will be entertained and will heighten their interest too. Then we must save questions at the end, because most likely if there is questioning during the demonstration, you will likely lose track of what you're gonna say next because you will be distracted. So it's very important that all the questions that we're gonna be questioned will be answered at the end of the lesson. Okay, then we must arrange the class in a U shape, meaning a U shape. So what can you see about the U shape? Oh, it's like a one way only, but in a curve pace. Then use a narrative to tell a story. So whenever we tell a story, we must be more engaging, or the words that we're gonna use are like relatable. Um, the words that we're gonna use is somehow entertaining, because the kids have a really short attention span. So it's very important for them to be to be told a story that is interesting and can grasp their attention. Kindly next.
So good morning, everyone. Am I audible? So I just want to apologize for the background noise, and also I just want to remind everyone to always speak in English and to not speak in vernacular when you participate. So the next one is the benefits of using the demonstration. So who wants to read number one? Can I have Anna?
So the first benefits is it helps children in gaining a deeper understanding of the subject matter.
So, as we all know, demonstration is very effective in education setting. So, this promotes long-term understanding rather than superficial understanding about a subject matter. So who wants to read the number two rather? Yes, Jaza the two.
It helps children to understand activities.
Can you repeat it again? I can't hear you clearly, Miss Jaza.
It helps children to become active learners.
Okay, thank you for that. So active learning involves students taking hands-on learning. So when we demonstrate, that requires hands-on learning. So this could involve activities like discussions or the way they they present the demonstration, and also the or we can also include the problem solving task, and this fosters engagement between the students and the teacher, motivation, and a sense of responsibility for one's learning process. So let's move on to the number three. Who wants to read the number three? Yes, Miss Stephanie Fantas.
So number three, it leads to permanent learning of the subject matter.
So thank you for that. So permanent learning refers to the knowledge that is retained and applied over time. So active and we must relate it to inquiry based learning and active learning. So these methods encourage students to apply what they've learned in the real world situations or through repeated practices, so making it more likely that they will remember and use the information that they've gathered in the demonstration in the near future. So the fourth one is it helps create interest in science among children. So the demonstration suggests that an interactive or exploratory learning can spark curiosity and enthusiasm among students. So, by involving students in hands on science activities, real world applications, or experiments, they are more likely to develop a passion for the subject, which is the science, and continue pursuing it in the future. So the last one is it promotes discovery learning among children. So discovery learning, as what we all know, is an approach where students learn by exploring. They are discovering things. So experimenting and discovering concepts for themselves rather than being directly taught by the teacher. So this encourages independent thinking, curiosity, and problem solving skills as students are given the opportunity to find answers through explore, exploration and inquiry. So, I'm sorry for the dead air, everyone, since my connection is low. So moving on to the challenges in using demonstration, we have here the first one. It is costly because of the materials needed. So, as we all know, demonstration requires a lot of things to or materials to for you to be able to perform a demonstration. So this refers to the financial aspect of using certain teaching methods that require specific materials or resources for them. So an example of this is in science education. So in science education, as we all know, we are experimenting. So this often requires specialized equipment or tools or supplies that can be expensive for schools to purchase and maintain. So this can be one of the challenges since all the materials that are needed in science education rather, I'm sorry for that, is really costly. So the second one is it requires a lot of time in planning and preparation. So this highlights that the demonstration really demands significant time for the teacher to prepare. So this could involve gathering materials or setting up the learning environment wherein they will be able to conduct the demonstration and planning the detailed lesson steps. So which can be time consuming, especially if the activities are complex or require precise timing. So the third one is it does not follow the principle of learning by doing. So can I have the idea of Miss Stephanie Fuentes why it is one of the challenges in using demonstration, number 3?
What is your question again?
So I would like to ask you why number 3 is one of the challenges in using demonstration.
It does not follow the principle of learning by doing.
Yes, Steph.
So I think it is one of the challenges in using demonstration to not follow the principles of learning by doing, because the students, they are the one to demonstrate the presentation, and they are the one to yes, demonstrate the presentation. Yes, that's all.
Thank you for that, Stephanie. So the fourth one is there is a limited opportunity for the children to practice this scientific method. So in a demonstration based approach, students may not have many opportunities to practice the scientific method since teachers are more likely to do or to be able to demonstrate the said or specific task. So this this must this method must involve active participation and inquiry for the students to be able to learn. So I guess that's why this is one of the challenges in using demonstration because it most likely focuses on the teacher rather than the students. So the fifth one is the lack of teachers' ability to experience in planning, preparing, conducting, and evaluating demonstrations. So this statement refers to the teacher's lack of expertise or experience in managing demonstration-based lessons or activities. So if a teacher is not skilled in planning, preparing, and executing a demonstration, it might affect the way she or he present it, and it can affect the quality of the lesson and the students' understanding. And the teacher might also struggle with making the demonstrations engaging or relevant for the students. So the last one is lack of teachers' creativity. So creativity in teaching help help a lesson more engaging. So it also makes the lesson relevant and it may make the students be excited about the lesson, or also it might make them engage with the lesson. So this also can this also can lead to dry and inspired lessons that fail to capture students' interest. So without creative thinking, even well-planned lesson plans, so lessons may not be as effective in promoting active learning, or in it might not spark curiosity among students or about the subject matter. So the teachers with limited creativity may struggle to make the learning experience engaging or adaptable to different students' needs. So the next topic is all about the suggested activities for teacher. So the first one is demonstrate how to plant seeds. So the second is demonstrate how to prepare no-bake cookies for kids, and the last one is demonstrate how to take care of pet animals. So as you all observed, it is all about really it is all student-centered or child-centered, since this focuses more on the learning of the child rather than the teacher. So for the next topic, which is exhibitions, can I have Miss Josa again?
Okay, so we're done about demonstration. So now we're going to proceed to lesson 8, which is the exhibitions. Okay, kindly next, please. Okay, kindly next. Okay, so same with demonstration, we're going to discuss about introduction, the stages in developing, guide and preparing a display, benefits of using exhibit, challenges, and the suggested activities for the teachers. Okay, kindly next, please. Okay, so when we say exhibition, so it is described as organizing of different items and showcasing through display in public. It's like you are accumulating all the different items and you put it in or you situate it in one place for the public view. So it is also in it is a test of the teacher as well as the children under combined learning process. It is the combined learning process of the teacher and the student. So the teacher here is tested on how far he or she has been successful in imparting the desired knowledge, behavior, and skills in the teaching process. So in this view, exhibitions display the learning of the children and even the complete process of teaching and learning. So in exhibition, it mainly assists how a teacher can effectively deliver their lessons more, and how they can associate it with different learning or strategies for their teaching. Can the next, please? Okay, so exhibition has two types. So kindly read. So can I have someone to read it? Okay, can you read Miss Anna Villasor, the first bullet?
Okay, oral exhibition. Children present their model and explain the interpretation orally to their audience.
Okay, so we say from the word itself, oral, meaning it is said, it is spoken. So it is a type of exhibition that students explains, presented in front, then they explain what the presentation all about, how how it is made or how relevant it is. So they just speak it in front. And when we say multimedia exhibition, this includes the different what multimedia technologies such as slide presentations or other multimedia software. So it is more using it used more in digitalized or yeah technology based type of exhibition since it is using different multimedia technology in presenting their uh materials or their display. Kindly next, please. Okay, so here are the stages in developing an exhibition. So can someone read it for me? Okay, can I have Miss Hamandron to read all the stages in developing an exhibition?
Stages in developing an exhibition. First is planning stage. Second is design stage. Third is construction of installation. Fourth is occupancy stage. And the fifth is remedial stage.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ron. So the first stage is planning stage. In so the science teacher here will select the theme and identify the target audience, the venue, the materials, and other matter needed to be considered. So budget allotment for this for the exhibit must be what considered in the stage. So this is the first stage in doing developing an exhibition. So it's very important that when we do an exhibition, we must consider who our audience are, their interests, and how we are going to what catches their attention. Catches their attention. So I guess
You can send me the PPT ate. I can present your PPT.
wait, like SRE is not around. Wait.
Yes, I think she lost her connection.
I guess Ara back. Sorry guys for that sudden technical interruption that we have. Okay, so the next one is the design stage. The design stage includes, it focuses on the preparation, designing and development of the venue, including the layout, objects, sequencing, lighting, signage, multiple panels and orientation. So when we say design, it includes how the material or how we can make the exhibit more what we call this more catchy, or it includes the materials that we're going to use for the exhibition. So from the name itself, designs, it focuses in the design. Okay, so the next one, the third one is the construction of installation. Okay, so it involves the placement of materials according to the approved design. So it's very important that we need to consider where our design are gonna be located, because it might cause what? It might cause uh hassle, or if it's not put in a proper area, or the area that you're situating it is not appropriate, it will likely cause a problem, no, with the people and your exhibit as a whole. The fourth one is the occupancy stage. The teacher should examine the different factors in the stage. So, like the flow of traffic, it's not really the traffic and vehicles, it's the traffic of the people. If they're like crowded, if there are, if they're not like guided well, because if there will be no proper flow, they would, yeah, people would be all everywhere. So it would cause like a crowd what? Crowd excessiveness, more like that. Then the visitor usage, the attitudes, because some kids during exhibits might manifest like different behaviors that would really affect how how the exhibits are gonna be performed, because it will distract what the one who's doing the exhibit and the students and everyone in that area too. Then their interest, of course, it's very important that their interest is still met. They're learning the cost effectiveness and attendance among the other. Okay, the last one is the remedial stage. It focuses on adjustment that need to be done during the installation to correct post occupancy problems. So as we know, occupancy problem, it includes what the flow of the traffic, what I have just said earlier. Okay, can the next please?
Excuse me, Tejasa. I would like to talk about stuff that you if you want to continue sharing this slide. Since I have,
Okay.
sorry for the.
Tapik man dia ako ah. Kaya pa yung kasan. Kuan, dia ka man may nadugay sa kuan. Sa Mandawi to kuan. Aw, pagsunod na
Okay,
lang ni
so the
kuan.
following are the guide in
Punto
preparing a
na nilang
display.
plato
So the
kuan.
first one is the title, it is the name of the project. The objectives, here in the objectives we state the purpose of the project with what you want to find out. The third one is the hypothesis. So when we say hypothesis, it is
Pagsunod na
a
niyo.
prediction that you make, during your exhibit. So what will be the things that we will expect from it, like that. Okay, the fourth one is the book and resources. So it is like you must consider the literature related to the topic because we won't be having information that are not accurate, that are not legitimate. So it's very important that we have like supporting related literature to accompany our exhibit. The fifth one is the materials. So it's very important that the materials that we are using are accurate to the said exhibition that we are gonna conduct. Okay,
Ligoon
the
daw
next
na kita
please.
karon guys. Kung ligoon.
Okay, so procedure. It is a list of what reference supplies needed for the experiment. So this is the step by step process that in order for us to have the display. So it is the process how we undergo the SID exhibit. Seventh one is the variables. Is the step by step process you incorporated in the experiment. So the eighth one is the conclusion. So it is the part of the experiment that will stay the same or that will be tested. So because there are other exhibits that are changeable, some just stays the same. No, so it's very important that we consider that too. Then the application. It is the points that you have learned for the experiment. So it's how you put action into what you learn. It's like putting reality into your vision. So what you see, how you are gonna apply those learnings that you have during the exhibit. Okay, the 10th one is the picture. So it is the explanation of how your work relates to the real world. I know the picture is pictures of other shreds of evidence regarding your experiment. So when we say evidence regarding your experiments, it's like the supporting, so it is the solid or the hard evidences because an exhibit will be null or will be invalid if what we are displaying there has no evidences. We won't likely believe a particular thing if there is no evidence, right? Because we might think that it is just created out of out of your own. It's not based on facts. It is not reliable. So yeah, kindly next, please.
So the next one is the benefits in using exhibition. So can someone read number one? Can I have Alma?
Am I audible, Miss Ara? Yes. So the first benefits in using exhibitions, the first one is it can create interest among children by learning new facts and inventions.
So thank you for that, Miss Alma. So as we all know, exhibitions, particularly in science settings, displays often features or new discoveries or inventions that are intriguing facts that can capture the children's interest and curiosity. So its exposure to fresh information or innovations encourages the students to explore topics that they may not have encountered in class. And this will spark their interest and will broaden their knowledge and understanding of the world around them. So this exposure can lead to a greater enthusiasm for learning, and it also fosters a deeper appreciation for science and innovation. So let's proceed to the number two. Can I have Linia to read?
Second is it can develop social and moral skills.
Thank you for that, Miss Linia. So as we all know, exhibitions often involves collaborations and also interactions among students, teachers, and also the visitors. So children may work together to create exhibits and also present their findings or discuss their ideas with others. This also helps them develop social skills through communication, teamwork, and respect for each other's viewpoints. Additionally, exhibitions may address social or ethical issues, which encourages students to consider or children to consider moral implications and also think critically about the topics like sustainability or about the technology and social responsibility. So, third one, can I have Miss Donios to read number three?
So, the third benefit of using exhibition is that it can foster creativity since science reveals a new truth and a discovery.
So, thank you for that, Miss Donios. So, participating in an exhibition allows children to see how scientific discoveries are made and how challenging they are in terms of existing or creating such knowledge. So this can spark their own creativity as they learn how to think outside the box, pose questions, and also explore innovative
Ikaw ba?
solutions
Kung ano may
rather. So
booking niyo mo?
this exhibition often encourages children to
Ah.
think imaginatively,
Ay,
and
balhin
also
dire,
it
kinay
encourages
tumpok dire.
children to make connections
Tukon niyo ng
between
dating buha ka.
different
Erka,
ideas, and they can
baro ko.
also envision the possibilities of this or the skills that are central
Hindi
to
mo ba dito
creative
lang?
thinking. So the fourth one,
Erka.
can I have Miss Marielle to read that?
Number four.
Yes.
Okay, so benefits in using exhibition number four. It can develop a scientific attitude.
Thank you for that. So as we all know, exhibitions often emphasize critical thinking. So it might by it might encourage or develop a scientific attitude. So this also emphasized the scientific inquiry, which was discussed by Ms. Stephanie a while ago, and also they learn to ask questions, investigate phenomena, and also analyze results and apply logical reasoning for components of the scientific mindset. So this scientific attitude will help them approach problems methodically and promotes a love of learning and discovery. So the fifth one is it can allow children to apply what they have learned in school. So, exhibitions provide students with the opportunity to
Kanawatan, nagpuyo
apply
ra
the
ta.
concepts, facts, and skills that they have learned in this classroom in a practical or real world context. So, for instance, when children create exhibits, they can incorporate the scientific principles or historical knowledge. As we all know, museums or exhibitions are really full of the histories about the countries, our country. So, or artistic skills that they've gained. So this also allows them to see how abstract concepts can be put into practice. So it reinforces their learning and enhances retention. So it also helps them understand the relevance of what they have learned to everyday life. Then the last one is it can develop articulation to communicate. So presenting information at an exhibition requires children to articulate their ideas clearly. So, whether they are explaining a project or discussing a scientific principle or answering questions from others. So this may improve their verbal communication skills, and this also helps them to express themselves more confidently and effectively. So the opportunity to explain concepts and engage with an audience also boosts their public speaking and presentation abilities, which are valuable in both academic and real world settings. So please, next. So moving on to the challenges in using exhibitions. First one is the teachers and children need to allot more time to plan and prepare for the exhibit. So as we all know, exhibit is really time consuming. So organizing an exhibition involves substantial time and effort from both the teachers and the students. So for the exhibit to go well organized and meaningful, teachers must coordinate and supervise the preparation of displays, projects, and materials. So students also need time to research, create, and refine their presentations. This extensive planning and preparation process can take away from regular classroom time and it requires careful scheduling to ensure that everything is ready for the exhibition day. So the second one is the ability of the teacher to plan and prepare. So successful exhibitions require teachers to have strong planning and preparing, and it also requires their organization skills, how they organize things. So teachers must be able to guide students effectively through the process, helping them choose the topics or conduct research and create displays. So additionally, they need to manage logistics such as arranging materials, setting up the exhibition space, and coordinating schedule. So if a teacher lacks experience in organizing exhibitions or doesn't have any adequate support, it may become a challenging task to ensure everything runs smoothly. So the third one is they need to allot more budget because materials are costly. So as we all know, exhibitions really require materials or things that are like high quality like that. So exhibitions often require specialized materials for displays, projects, and other interactive elements. These materials can include art supplies, science kits, or technology that may be expensive for schools to provide. It also uses some skull, as you all know. So schools may need to allocate more budget or additional funds to cover these costs, which can be challenging, particularly in schools with limited budgets. The financial constraints may limit the scope of the exhibition or force teachers to find creative solutions to work within the available sources. So, fourth one, can I have Miss Stephanie to read and share her knowledge about this one?
So the fourth one is finding the right venue to conduct the exhibit. So of course, when conducting an exhibit, you must have or find the right venue to freely present that exhibit. That's all.
So, thank you for that, Miss Stephanie. So, a suitable venue is essential for showcasing the exhibition effectively. So schools may face challenges in finding an appropriate space appropriate space that is large enough to accommodate the exhibits as well as the audience, which are the students, the parents, or the teachers, the staffs. So the venue should be well lit, accessible, and arranged in a way that it allows visitors to interact with the display. So schools that lack the dedication to the exhibition spaces or have limited physical resources may struggle with setting up an engaging environment for the said event or for the exhibition. So the fifth one is looking for appropriate topics to use in the exhibit. So when we propose an exhibition, we must look for the right and the engaging topic. So choosing the right topics for the exhibition can be a challenge for the teachers and the students. So the topics need to be engaging, educational, and appropriate for the age and learning level of the students. So it is important to select topics that can inspire curiosity and creativity while also aligning the learning objectives. So finding a balance between students' interest and educational value can be difficult, especially if students are unfamiliar with potential themes or lack the necessary background knowledge to research and present them effectively. And the last one is children may not be ready to plan and implement on their own. So, organizing and implementing an exhibition can be a complex task, and younger students may lack the maturity or the skills needed to handle the planning process independently. So, they must need the more knowledgeable other or the those who have the knowledge about exhibitions. And students may struggle with tasks such as conducting research, managing their time, collaborating with their peers, or creating quality exhibits. So teachers must provide guidance, structure, and support throughout the planning and implementation stages to help the students succeed. Without adequate support, students may feel overwhelmed or may not be able to complete their projects effectively. So please next. So here are these are the following suggested activities for teachers. So number one is bring your children to a local museum. Second is conduct school-based science fair. And the third one is collect artifacts, exotic insects, flowers, and plants, among others. So in conclusion, the importance of demonstration and exhibition in the educational process is that it offers a unique opportunities for both the teachers and the students. Demonstrations, when effectively conducted, can engage students and enhance their understanding of complex concepts and sparks curiosity. So they provide a clear and direct way to illustrate scientific principles, and they also make abstract ideas more tangible and memorable. On the other hand, exhibitions serve as a platform for students to apply what they have learned in a more creative and hands-on manner. So they foster skills such as research, teamwork, public speaking, and problem solving while encouraging students to take ownership of the learning. So that's all for the lesson 7 and 8, which is all about the demonstration and exhibition. So we will now present our quiz. Please get a 1/2 lengthwise yellow pad paper and wait for a while. I will share the screen for our quiz. So we will just give you 30 minutes to answer our quiz. And you may now start. So if you are answering, please raise your hand for me to know who's answering the quiz and who's not.
Ay, nako rin.
This provides students with an opportunity to showcase their learning in creative and meaningful way. exhibit. It is the lesson unit as teacher to monitor the progress of their student what steps evaluation. Ay, mutong baba ni maron. Ana ra. Sige, mutong maron. The following are the steps in using demonstration exercise to introduction to lesson, evaluation, planning, and preparation. Taba, taba. In planning your demonstration, which the following you must instill in your mind, focus, entertaining images, prepare a well-designed lesson plan. If you just use prepare a well-designed lesson plan.
Naman daw pinaskuhan si Manino Ika.
Kuya,
Ano na din eh? Kinukuha daw sa yung PSA niya. Ano dahil nang upod lagi ni dyan? Apelido daw. Nakamusta man ang kuhan. Ito man loob sa to. Kira? Ito man loob. Yan pa ba? Ilang kagabi? Okay wa. Ay, kapila di, dayagan di ka day? Ilang kabuwan? Kaya mo. Pwede nung servisa nigra. Kapila ni Maron, ilang buwan lang. Eh, si Kuan yung nasa sakit. Nawa ng ibang manang, ang mata yung mga balibog, mga yung ano man. Ano sound sa? Ikaw sa sabon o what? Pinaligo kami kanina ay. Ngayon ang pinaligo. Ligo mo na. Juan, ibigyan ako siya kung nagtayo na ng sabon. Tangan ako siya kami. Kami kaya ako man mag-gulok niya rin. Natutong balik kita. Pwede mo matigay ito ba niya? Ano ko naman kumana kayo? Yan ako ianay yung nang sa akong kamot pa. Ayaw nag-inom ko sa doon dahil sa kuan kay ginugo ulit ka. Oh. Katong abi nga to ba? Open go di mo matris god di mo. Oh, ito ba ako? Oo.
Probiotic. Just na. Test 3 enumeration 1 to 5.
Inom ka ba yung desik? Ano man? Kapatid mo?
By 5 guidelines interfering.
Ako hindi ko kay training man lupus. Sauna dagat ako. Mga bawal. Kabukal ang matris. Garan sa mga Diyos na. Ngayon kuhan.
Which we give you. Provide at least for activities.
Ate, abi ko, Rones, namatay nung tok tayo.
It happens all the time. Nag-red sa ko diyan, nagpalit ko sila sa ko. Kaya naging anak, gamay nga, butangan ko. Kanang butangan nag-perfume. Ano ganing anak ra, gamay na anak ra ka ng puhing anak. Dili mahurot na lang. 0 point kuan. Gold brown color.
Nag-reach yung garisay. Ito ba, kaya pa ako. Bukan kasi ako yung handa.
Mana? You're so noisy.
Okay naman na. Ayaw sa computer.
Yabo lagi natin. Nagkaon niya gapon ba? Yabo.
Ayaw sa kaon namin na.
It happens all the time. Gonna have to one. Oh no, and I need you now. Mega! Shh! That's dirty. Dirty. Papunta ka ron.
You can lower your raise hand button once you're done answering the quiz.
Mega.
Namin sa bawal sa kuhan. Inula gabi eh. Ita.
Snow. No. No. Snow. Snow. Snowy. Come. Mutong ba naman? Apil-apil na. Apil yun. Sige. Mala na. Snowty. Humina rin ba si Snowty? Mag-pila-pila. Shout ra lang ano. Oh. Dili. Dili. Iyo ah. Jumega, hilumi sa nang baba ba? Tapos now, lucky lang. Wala sa mood. Eh. Kaya sa naman eh. Dan, ano ba? It happens all the time. I don't know how I can do without. I just okay, okay. Ay,
Ano mo na? Uy! Asa man si Mala? Nilagaw? Ah! Nilagaw di ay. Ay.
Okay,
Ito ta?
so is everyone done with answering? Can they hit the thumbs up? Okay, so I guess everyone are done. So we would like to say thank you everyone for participating and for being with us all throughout our reporting journey. I hope that the lessons that we discussed earlier will be learned and will be applied when we became teacher one day. So have a blessed day everyone and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Nilagaw ka!